What is good, YouTube? It's your boy OG Nonboy, back from a pretty long hiatus, and in today's video I have a team consisting of MACARGO and double ice users in the form of Froslass and Walrein. And MACARGO is a pretty good pick in this meta, as it does core break a lot of teams that have Froslass and Escavalier on them. And then the Froslass is arguably the best safe swap, at least it is in my opinion in this cup. So without further ado, let's get into these battles here. Gain about 150 elo with these battles, and as you will notice, my elo is kind of low compared to a lot of other content creators, but that is because I have not been playing for the past couple weeks, hence the lack of content. But to get into the commentary here, when you do have a positive lead with the MACARGO, you don't want to throw the Incinerate, as you will be locked into that animation. So they're going to swap out pretty much immediately every time. So you just want to react to their swap, and here I react a little bit poorly and bring in the Froslass instead of the Walrein, which has a lot more of a favorable matchup against the Diggersby, as you are only taking neutral damage from the fire punches. But even so, the Froslass is able to fare well here against the Diggersby in spite of taking super effective damage from the fire punches. As long as you match shields, you should be able to take out the Diggersby before they're able to take you out. So opponent attempting a catch here, but they end up just bringing in their Froslass a little bit early because I wasn't even at the move yet. But we swap into our MACARGO and we should be able to take care of this Froslass pretty easily. And we're gonna see the Diggersby come back in probably, but we should be able to reach an overheat before they reach a earthquake to take us out. So now it's just up to what is in the back, but we do almost have a Shadow Ball locked and loaded here. So even if they take us out, they're not going to be able to reach a move before we're able to hit the Shadow Ball here. And from this range, Shadow Ball, heavy hitting move, and Escav being a very squishy Pokemon, we're able to one-shot them and take this match there. So next match, we have the MACARGO into Lucario. So this is kind of like a neutral lead, just because I mean, they can win this, but only if they decide to expend a shield. So they're going to reach the power-up punch first, and then I'm going to let that go. And I'm going to throw the Rock Tomb here because I'm anticipating them shielding. And I guess like it's really, there's no reason to kinda, because I'm going to bring my Froslass in here. And the counter damage like is resisted anyway, so lowering their attack doesn't really help that much. They're going to throw the Shadow Ball. They're going to swap into the Whiscash. And now I'm going to throw the Avalanche here. Whiscash actually does pretty well against Froslass just because they do outpace you to the Mud Bombs, and as you're going to see here, the Mud Bombs actually do quite a decent chunk of damage. So they're going to shield this next move here, and they're going to hit me with another Mud Bomb. And I don't really want to use my last shield on my Froslass since we are so low, and at this point alignment doesn't really matter. Like, their Lucario is quite low, and we're going to have to build up some energy with our Walrein to take it out with an Icicle Spear before we incur too much counter damage. So I'm going to let the first Mud Bomb through, and I'm going to ideally throw on CMP here, but I actually kind of mess up, and I'm going to have to shield this next Mud Bomb here. But at least we get a nice little farm down, so we're going to have a ton of energy for whatever comes in next. So they're going to bring the Lucario in. I'm going to throw right away just so I don't take too much counter damage. And then it's just up to what is in the back, and if our Walrein with a little bit of an energy lead can handle it. So they have a Torterra, which is double weak against ice, so we're able to take that match there. So next match, we're met with the hard counter to this whole team. Like, this thing, if they decide to invest shields into it, will literally sweep all three of these Pokemon here. So not in a great position. We throw the overheat, we're able to take it out, and then we swap into the Froslass. So yeah, not looking too great here. We are taking super effective damage from the Smackdowns, and it's really just up to them if they're going to let the Shadow Balls go through and let us take out the Bastiodon. But I'm going to have to shield this just to make an attempt to win. Most likely, like, if you see a Bastiodon, like, you're going to lose. So be forewarned if you do decide to run this team. Like, that is a pretty big core breaker to the team. Also, the Quagsire is kind of a core breaker to the team, as it does have access to Stone Edge, which does super effective damage to all three of your Pokemon. And I have been able to actually win, I think, most of my games against Quagsire leads, funny enough though. So I wouldn't be as worried about that Pokemon, but Bastiodon definitely hard counters everything. So here I'm going to attempt to catch a move. Didn't really even catch it, but they decide to throw anyways. And it's, again, kind of just more or less up to what's in the back. It is a Gastrodon, so not looking too hot. They are pretty tanky, and they should be able to take me out before I'm able to threaten them. So if you're seeing a lot of Bastiodon, I don't know, maybe not run this team. It's not terribly balanced. But again, I personally have not seen very many Bastiodon at all. Like, I'm pretty sure this is the only set that I saw Bastiodon in while playing my sets here. So I'm gonna lose this one, but GG's to the opponent. Very spicy team with the Garchomp as well. So next match we have another Froslass lead. So again, I'm gonna not tap on my Incinerate. They're gonna swap into the Lucario, so I'm just gonna stay in here a little bit since MACARGO is kind of one of my better answers to Lucario, especially since the Wall Rain takes super effective damage from the counters, and then the Froslass is going to take super effective damage from the Shadow Balls, which they get to at the same time as you would get to your Shadow Balls. So since they swapped in first, they're a couple counters ahead, or they're one counter ahead rather if I swap in instantly. So I'm going to shield this move here. Could be the Shadow Ball. They bait us with a Power Up Punch, but now I'm going to get a nasty farm down on the Lucario here. So this is only a Power Up Punch, going to let that go. And now we have Shadow Ball loaded for their Froslass if they bring it back in. So we're likely going to see the third Pokemon, and they decide to bring in a Diggersby. So just have to be careful of them not catching, or catching rather. So going to try to throw on CMP with the Fire Punch here, but they're still building up. So I'm going to take them out and then, or just get the move off, and they shield, and they lose count here of my energy. So I'm going to be able to take them out with the Avalanche here. So now it's basically over, since they won't be able to farm me down before I get to a Shadow Ball and take them out. And I also had a shield left, so even if they won CMP, we would have taken that match there with the Froslass. Now we have a pretty bad lead with the Diggersby, so I'm going to swap in my Froslass. And a lot of times they like to either catch the Avalanche or something, so I tend to build up a lot of energy. So now I have a chance of flipping switch, since I kind of came into this matchup with a pretty heavy energy advantage. And as long as we shield up the Earthquakes correctly, we definitely outpace this Wall Rain to the move. So gonna hope that this is the Earthquake here, and it ends up being the Earthquake. So I'm gonna outpace them to their next Earthquake, and I'm gonna throw it and see what the opponent decides to do. If they do shield this, I'm going to hopefully shield up another Earthquake and take them out, but opponent thankfully letting this go, which puts us in a very comfortable position. So now they're going to bring their own Froslass in, and I'm going to throw the Avalanche here. Kind of unnecessary, since I'm going to just let my Froslass go through, or like go down anyways. Going to let the Shadow Ball go through, since we do have a very dominant matchup with our MACARGO. And then I'm going to not take my advice from earlier and throw an Incinerate, which leads me to have to shield this Earthquake, but even so, it doesn't matter just because we have very favorable alignment here. So there's really no way that we can mess this matchup. I just have to throw the Icicle Spears at this Diggersby. We're going to survive any move that it is here, and then probably farm down and then throw an Earthquake at the Froslass. So that's what it looks like I'm going to do. This should just be a Fire Punch, so definitely going to survive that. Only kind of scary thing here is that the Earthquakes is not going to KO, and if they get a pretty big farm down on the Wall Rain and have some moves ready for the MACARGO, it would be kind of scary, but very hard to farm down a Wall Rain, as it does double resist the ice moves, since the ice resists the ice and then the water resists the ice as well. So able to reach an Icicle Spear there and take them out. So overall able to go 4-1. And definitely have had a lot of success with this team. Like I said, I've gained around 150 elo since coming back, and I haven't even played that many sets. I think maybe 10 or so, or less even. So yeah, that's all for today's video. If you enjoyed the video, make sure you like, comment, and subscribe, and definitely give this team a try if you're looking to gain some elo on Go Battle Day or something like that. So yeah, that's all for today's video, and I'll see you in the next one.